This is Ritter for On the Ritter Entertainment Blog, coming to another edition of MLB Observations for Week 3 of the 2021 season. So the Braves, as I keep getting on with them, Ronald Acuna could be a 40 home run guy, 120 RBI guy, bat close to 300, and maybe steal 40 bases. But he should not be batting leadoff because then the bottom of your lineup is not as good. Then they doubled down by moving Freddie Freeman to the number 2 spot, which they did a little bit last year. Freddie Freeman is the MVP. MVPs are not usually your number 2 hitter. The reason why Freddie Freeman won the MVP was because he was in the middle of the order, driving in so many runs, hitting clutch home runs, getting on base as well for the guys behind him, and playing great defense. He is the perfect cleanup hitter for this team, and Acuna's perfect number 3 hitter. So then I see Ozzie Albies, who was batting second, he's batting 5th, and I'm just like, he's a really good number 2 hitter. And then, they've had some injuries in the rotation, you would think that Sean Newcomb, one of their young starting pitchers they had years ago when they got him from the Angels, for the Simmons trade, that he wasn't ready to be a major league starter, then maybe throw him out there. And then the other thing is they got Andrianza to be utility infielder, to back up guys. He and Sandoval, the backup infielders, and Camargo. Then they said, you know what? We're going to play him in the outfield. He's not an outfielder. Now, I know you got some injuries to Pache and Ciarte, but you have Irvin and Almonte under contract, and what's his name? Guillermo Heredia, Almonte, all these outfielders, you can definitely use them instead of using him there. Then the Cubs, stop batting Contreras second. It doesn't matter if it's Bodie or Sogard. And one of them should be batting second in this lineup. And then Chris Bryant's only playing the outfield some days, because if you give a guy like Jason Hayward the day off, but you also want to give, but also because Jock Peterson's now hurt, you're going to play Jake Marisnick in center field and move Ian Happ to left. That is why you got to call up Cameron Maybin or call up someone who can actually play the outfield that's on a minor league deal instead. That's just, Bryant does not want to be in the outfield. That's one of the reasons why if he had a chance to leave, he would leave, because he's not an outfielder. Diamondbacks, Cole Calhoun is one of the only reliable players they have, especially one of the only natural born outfielders. Why is he batting second? Then I see Van Meter, and Van Meter's a utility player who originally was the first baseman, and he's playing second base. He's batting third. He's batting fifth. I'm just like, what are you doing? He's not a middle of the order guy. He's just a backup. And then this Rojas guy, I've seen him play shortstop in the outfield. He's a natural-born third baseman. Now, obviously, they're set at third base and at shortstop. But fine, you can play him in the corner outfield. That's one thing. But then they completely get beyond the realms of making sense. Is Pavin Smith? He's a first baseman. He can't play first base because of Christian Walker, and he can't DH because there's no full-time DH. So it's one thing you want to play Pavin Smith in left field or right field like you do with the Rojas with the third baseman. That's fine, but I'm seeing him play center field. There's a reason why they went and got that Heath guy from the Royals, because they don't have a center fielder. You know, Castro and Ketel Marte are injured. That's why they should have got some more outfield depth there. They should call up Trace Thompson. I know they want offense, but if you're going to try to play somebody center, maybe try Calhoun or play Peralta center field for the first 5 innings. And then Mathewson, he's another first baseman. They got 3 first basemen. I see him playing third base in the outfield. There's just not enough outfielders that go around this team. I think if you start Calhoun and Peralta every day in the corner, you can figure it out by playing an offensively challenged player in center field every day, or a defensively challenged guy and have a replacement come in. Then the Cardinals, stop batting Goldschmidt second. Like, a lineup of him and Nolan Arenado, Paul DeYoung, and Yadier Molina and Tyler O'Neill is an amazing batting lineup right there. We haven't even got to if you have Dylan Carlson, if Bader's playing, then Matt Carpenter won't be playing. But again, it's a really good lineup there. And this Edmund Sosa guy, he's a backup infielder. Why is he playing the outfield? I have no idea. They got enough outfielders to go around on this team with Austin Dean and Lane Thomas and Justin Williams. I don't know what they're doing. The Nationals, they did what they're supposed to do in the offseason. They went and got Schwarber and Josh Bell and Starlin Castro's back. That improved their offensive lineup by so much. But why take Soto and bat him second when he's a perfect ideal number 3 hitter? Average on base percentage, slugging percentage, takes walks, drives, and runs. Hits a lot of home runs. It's not a number 2 hitter. And then by doing that, Josh Harrison bats 5th. I would rather see Josh Harrison bat 1 or 2 like what he did most of his career in Pittsburgh and make a decision on where you want to put him with Trey Turner. And then Hernan Perez, super utility guy, he keeps pitching, man. Every team he's on in blowouts, they use him as the pitcher, which is interesting. One day, they actually started Andrew Stevenson in right field and leading off, and Josh Harrison batting second. I said, good. That's maybe how they should do it with Juan Soto injured. That's a good lineup there. Then the Phillies are still doing the Andrew McCutchen, Rhys Hoskins 1 and 2 with Didi Gregorius and Gene Segura 6 and 7. Yeah, one time they had Segura bat second and Rhys Hoskins bat third. Hoskins is a power guy. You have to bat him somewhere between 3 and 6. And Segura, he's batted a lot of times lead off or at the bottom, not in the middle. And then Andrew Knapp, your backup catcher, is playing second base. I'm saying to myself, you got Brad Miller, you got Scott Kingery, you got all these guys on your roster. I'm surprised you have to play your backup catcher second base. And then Matt George, just because he's replacing Andrew McCutchen in the lineup for one day to give McCutchen the day off, doesn't mean the left fielder always has to be the leadoff hitter. That's not what Matt George is. He was a DH for a while, too. He's not a leadoff guy. Now, the Rays, their whole lineup's weird. They got Meadows leading off some days, and Randy Arozarena batting second, and then Lau batting third, or Margot batting fourth, fifth, or sixth. Or is Yandy Diaz leading off. Bersaro cleaning up some days. Margot, if he's not batting fourth, fifth, or sixth, batting third. Wendell sometimes batting third. Tezuka's batting second. It's like Meadows is not a 40 home run guy, but he's also not a leadoff hitter. Maybe if you bat him second, bat him fifth or sixth, maybe. If you bat him third, I feel like the best spot for him. Randy Arozarena, I feel like if he got the speed, you can maybe bat him at the top or bat him sixth or seventh. It's Manuel Margot who's got the speed, and Brandon Lau, who, if you don't want to bat him second, you bat him third. Maybe I can accept that if the fourth, fifth, and sixth hitters are normal. And then Yandy Diaz is a power guy. Should never batting leadoff. Bersaro's a backup if you do play him, bat him towards the bottom of the lineup. And then Bersaro was not a second baseman. He's actually more first baseman. So playing him at third base is somewhat sometimes when you want to get a first baseman in the lineup. And Wendell's a utility player, so him playing shortstop is not a big deal. But he's not really the shortstop on the team. And then Wendell should be batting third. Tezuka's a power guy. He should never be batting second. And then you're saying they used an opener this week. I'm like, then why didn't you use Colin McHugh as a starter? I don't know what you're doing there. You got some guys that you can use that could be McKay, Honeywood. They got guys that could start instead of just doing opener. Yankees did an opener. I don't know what they're doing. I thought when the season opened that when the rotation was Cole, Kluber, Tyone, Diego Herman, and they went with one of the younger guys as well. I just like, okay, not all the young guys actually made the rotation. So if that's true, that not all the young guys made the rotation and some of them made the bullpen, why don't you use one of the young guys out of the bullpen? That makes no sense. DJ LeMahieu is still batting leadoff, and Aaron Judge was batting second. And some days you see Hicks third, Gardner was batting third, Gardner batting sixth. Urshela batted cleanup one day, Mike Ford batted cleanup. I'm like, those are not 3-4 hitters, and that's not how you do it. Only one time they had Brett Gardner batting leadoff, which is what he did for many, many years until like 2 years ago they stopped doing it. And DJ LeMahieu batted second, which is really where he's best suited. That's the lineup you want. And then I'm trying to see DJ LeMahieu play first and third base just because they went and got Rougned Odor. Rougned Odor has been good in years. He was already learning how to play a new position third base, so I don't know why he's got to start. He's not that good. Indians. Ahmed Rosario, I wouldn't really bat him fifth or center field, but the Indians for some reason just don't want to go with any real center fielders on the roster except for Luplow. Chang is a backup shortstop utility infielder. He's not a first baseman. If you don't want to play Jake Bauers, give Bobby Bradley the opportunity to play every day, or get Josh Naylor out of the outfield, because he's not really an outfielder. He's a third baseman. The guy's not really meant to be playing the outfield to begin with. The Reds, Nicky Castellanos is the number 2 hitter, and Senzel and Jonathan India should not be batting fifth or sixth. Jesse Winker, not really a leadoff hitter either, so that's where India and Senzel should be towards the top of the lineup. And Castellanos should be in the middle. Suarez is this really weird, dumb experiment at shortstop, and I was okay with it if you played Senzel second base, because Senzel's not an outfielder. Then one day he played third base, which is kind of stupid because just put Suarez back at third base. Then they're playing the backup catcher infielder Kyle Farmer at third base, and I'm like, just put Suarez back at third base. It makes just no sense to keep doing that. And then Tyler Naquin, he's not a fifth. He's not a guy who bats in the lineup fifth. Bat him towards the bottom of the lineup there. Giants, Slater, they stopped using him leadoff most days, but he's still playing games in center field. He's even come in as defensive replacement. That guy's not a center fielder. He's a left fielder. I don't want to see Solano or Yastrzemski batting third or Dickerson batting cleanup. And I'm tired of seeing Posey fourth, because what's happening is they're batting the likes of Solano, Yaz, Dickerson, and whomever between the 3, 4, and 5 spots, and that just pushes Posey down to 7th, which is not where he belongs in the lineup. The Marlins are still doing the Dickerson Marte 1-2 thing, which means Jazz Chisholm is batting 6th. That is stupid. Those are power guys to be in the middle lineup. Jazz got speed. One day Rojas led off, and one day Jazz Chisholm led off, and Rojas was batting second. Those are lineups that I can get behind. I know you want to play Aguilar and Garrett Cooper at the same time, but you don't have to. Because that means Cooper's playing the outfield, and you take away from another outfielder getting a chance to play, and he's the defensive liability there. Trey Mancini and Anthony Santander should never be batting second. They're middle-of-the-order guys. Specifically, I want Mancini cleanup and Santander third. Ruiz only plays second base because I thought he was going to be the DH. but they're rotating around the DH instead, which is silly. And then Mountcastle, who I thought would get a bat to DH, he's playing a lot of left field. And then they're wasting time with Pedro Severino, a backup catcher, and sometimes batting him in the middle of the lineup there. And the Rangers, Isaiah Carter for left field, leading off and playing shortstop still. Yeah, it's not where he belongs. Lau, you got Nate Lau to be a power guy. She's never batting second. And you did not get Dahl to bat second either. He's a power guy also. Aroldis Garcia, he was taken off the 4-man roster. Didn't really think much about him, and now he's going to bat cleanup? That makes no sense. And then Culberson, I don't want to play shortstop, but that's the problem. You already have Xander Carnivaleva, who's not a shortstop, playing shortstop, and then you got Brock Holt. You don't have enough guys in this roster who can actually play shortstop. Nick Solak finally batted in a spot where I think he should put his second instead of fourth, fifth, or sixth. And Ian Kennedy's pitching out of the bullpen. I just want to bring it up because I still think the Rangers, who are desperate for pitching, could always try to get innings out of him as a starter. Pirates. Evans is not an outfielder because when you play him in left field and then you put Reynolds in center field, Reynolds, I've seen games, he'll make bad reads and decisions because he's not a center fielder. Not all natural-born outfielders can play center field. And I know you want to get Evans and Ke'Bryan Hayes in the lineup, but until Ke'Bryan Hayes comes back, just play him every day at third base. I do like to see lineups where Newman's leading off, but not Adam Frazier batting seventh or Gonzalez batting fifth or sixth. Those are not middle-of-the-order hitter guys. Brewers, JBJ is leading off because Lorenzo Cain is injured. I would try Luis Urias or Billy McKinney in that situation. And then, I don't want to see Vogelbach or Omar Navarez batting second because those are not number two hitters. One's a big slugging first baseman, one's a catcher. Twins, then Holmes Garver leading off, Josh Donaldson batting second, Byron Buxton batting cleanup. Garver and Donaldson in the middle of the lineup. Buxton, because he's not really a good leadoff hitter, then maybe you bat him fifth, sixth, or seventh, but not fourth. I'd rather have Donaldson or Nelson Cruz or Miguel Sano bat cleanup, or even Max Kepler. Now, the other thing is, he's not a number 5 hitter. It's better suited if he's at the top of the lineup. And now with Josh Donaldson back, you want to play Rise in left field? Fine, but it's just silly that you're going to then play him at third base. You're just ruining a guy who could potentially be a good everyday player. Angel. Ohtani's been batting second, and Walsh batted second one day. Those are both not number 2 hitters, and Walsh is playing right field now. With Adele, I guess, buried in the minor leagues, and John Jay, the DFA, and Juan Lagar is hurt, and Dexter Fowler out for the year. Fine, you want to play one of the many first basemen you have in right field, go right ahead. That's not where you belong. Tigers, Grossman is not a leadoff hitter. Nico Goodham's not a number 5 hitter, nor is Willie Castro a number 5 hitter or number 3 hitter. And if you're just going to play Nico Goodham at shortstop and move Willie Castro at second base and put Scope at first base, they're just moving things around. It was better to play Nico Goodham, a utility player, a backup, at third base, Willie Castro at shortstop, his position, and Jonathan Scope at second base. It just doesn't make sense to shuffle all these things around. And then Harold Castro playing first base is pretty stupid when you had Renato Nunez and you stupidly designated for assignment, which I don't get. Miguel Cabrera's not back from the DL, so there's no point to do that. And Candelario can play first base. No need for this utility infielder Castro to play third base. And then Candelario, when he does play, he's not a number 2 hitter. That makes no sense. They've had injuries rotation. Fulmer took one spot. I'm surprised they haven't used Daniel Norris as a starter. And then Jacoby Jones is not a number 9 hitter. He should be batting either 1 or 2 or maybe 7th. But he's not the last hitter in the lineup. He's got more offensive capability than that. And then one day he played left field, which I obviously think he should be a left fielder, but they stuck with Robbie Grossman, so he can't play left field. The A's, Marquez is not a leadoff hitter, and you're really pushing it by having him play some games in center field and some days in right field. It's like you got natural-born outfielders. You just DFA'd Tom. Again, another outfielder you just never really tried. I'd rather even Tony Kemp play the outfield than him. Like, if Mitch Moreland's not DHing that day, it should go to Mark Canha. And he should be in the middle of the lineup, not at the top. Laureano and Jed Lowry are not number 3 hitters. They're more like 2 or bottom hitters. Dodgers. Will Smith should not be batting cleanup, and Chris Taylor's not a number 5 or 6 hitter. There's no need for Max Muncy to play second base if you have Gavin Lux and you got this McKinstry guy, and you call it this News guy. You got all these infielders there. And also, speaking of McKinstry, he's not an outfielder. Like, the one thing you made Chris Taylor should be a utility player, and you play Beatty or Rios occasionally in the corner outfield. But come on. And then Nelson, Price are in the bullpen because they don't have enough spots rotation. That's fine. I did like seeing Chris Taylor lead off one day. Now, Mookie Betts, he did play some center field, which is good. But with the injuries to Bellinger, I feel like the lineup should be Mookie Betts third, Max Muncy or Justin Turner fourth, and the other one fifth. That would be a much better lineup there. Padres, Cronenworth pitching a game with a blowout or an extra inning type of thing. Yeah, I don't want to see him doing that. Musgrove playing left field is stupid to ask your pitcher to play left field. Tatis, I'm okay with him batting second, but not leading off. And then Cronenworth batting third is not where he belongs. Batting second is a little bit better because he's not a middle of the hitter. Profar is doing his tour, playing right field, left field, and first base. Mateo is playing center field, but he's not an outfielder. Trent Grisham is back. He should be in center as much as possible. Tommy Pham and Will Myers should be in the outfield. It should only be just in case you need to give him one day off, not all the time. Now, the Astros, I did like the Miles Straw and Le'Veon Diaz were batting 1 and 2 because of all the COVID outbreak. That's fine. But then I see Kyle Tucker, Gurriel batting 1 or 2, and Correa leading off. I'm like, that's not where they belong. Those are 3 middle-of-the-order power hitters. Le'Veon Diaz batting 5th, not where I want to see him either. And this Chase McCormick guy leading off because Straw didn't one day. That's a good spot for him. The M's, Mitch Haniger, Ty France batting 1 and 2 is an issue still. Ty France batting second base because they don't have enough second basemen. That's fine. Because with all the guys at the top lineup, they're power guys. You got a guy like Terrell Trammell on his 13 batting 5th, 6th, or 7th. And then some days you got, Dylan Moore, the utility player, batting in the middle of the lineup and playing all over the outfield when they got a gluttony of outfielders. And then Torrens, who's a backup catcher. Murphy, who's also a back catcher. They don't really have a starting catcher. They have 2 backups, batting 4th, 5th, or 6th. That's not where they belong. And Kyle Lewis, for every minute, so not a cleanup hitter. And Haggerty's, if you're going to play him second base. What happens is, if you play Ty France at the top of the lineup with Mitch Haniger, it just leaves Kyle Seager, Marmolosa, and Evan White. So that opens up a bunch of spots. If you were to put Kyle Seager cleanup and go Mitch Haniger 3rd, Ty France 5th, and maybe Kyle Lewis 6th, unless you want to bat him 7th, that would make more sense. The Jays, Marcus Semien leading off, Bichette, batting 3rd, and I like that. I did like that. Bichette, batted second. Has been batting second a few times. The Biggio's leading off. That's fine. That's similar to what they did the last 2 years. Davis playing game in center field is good, but then Grichuk, no. Like, if you have the youngster outfielder you just called up and you got Davis, there's no reason that Grichuk should be playing center field. Louis Gurriel playing first base is kind of silly if he's an outfielder. Biggio should not be playing an outfield. They got enough guys, and they use an opener. And I don't get that because if you're going to push Tanner Roark in the bullpen, don't you have Malone? Don't you have Tyler Chatwood? Got enough guys that you can start that you don't have to do that. And then Marcus Semien, batting 6th is more I'd probably want him as a power guy. The Rockies, there's no need for Ryan McMahon to play second base or bat second. With Arenado gone, he should be playing third base, and he should be in the middle lineup. Garrett Hampson, they have enough outfielders like Daza and Hillard that he should not be playing the outfield. And I'm not a big fan of Blackman batting cleanup. Maybe 3rd is better. Jonathan Villar should never be batting 5th, nor McNeil batting 6th. McNeil leading off, if you got Almora, Kevin Pillar, Guillorme, Nimmo, those are the guys I want batting leading off. Or other McNeil second, you push Lindor down a spot. And then Guillorme pitched because there was a blowout. That's interesting. Royals, don't put the slugger second. They put Carlos Santana second when he's much better suited as a cleanup guy. And Hunter Dozier is playing right field just so Hanser Alberto can play. It's not like you got Mikael Franco, who's been an everyday third baseman. You want to push Dozier to the outfield. There's no need to put Dozier to the outfield when you got Isabel, Dyson, Taylor, and Benintendi. You got enough outfielders along with Whit Merrifield that Dozier should never have to play the outfield. Just for a backup player at Alberto who keeps going from team to team? No, that's stupid. He also pitched in a game in a blowout Alberto. And the Red Sox, I don't want to see Hunter Renfroe, Bobby Delback batting 8th when Vasquez and Cordero and Martin Gonzalez are batting ahead of them. You got Renfroe and Delback for power, not to bat at the bottom of the lineup. Then the White Sox. Leor Garcia should either be batting like 8th or 9th or 1 or 2, never 6th. Danny Mendick and Yohan Mercedes did pitch in a game that was interesting because, again, gets a not enough pitcher. And Jake Lamb, the reason the Sox got him was I thought, okay, if he DHs some days, then you can play Vaughn in left field or you can play Mercedes in left field. Mercedes played first base once. That's fine. But there's no need for Lamb to play left field. He's also there to give Moncada the day off. I'd rather them play Mercedes in left field because he has some minor league games in left field, not Jake Lamb. Okay, thanks for listening to another edition of the MLB Observations for the 2021 season, Week 3. I'm Radar for On The Radar Tape Blog. See you guys next time.